Good morning, YouTube. Me and my good buddy, Engineer 775 here today. Doing a little decom, tear down and replace. We got every battery room is different, but we're using a very special tool today. This is a material lift or duct lift. And these batteries are about 8 feet up, about 7 feet up in the air. Weigh about, what do you think they weigh, boss? About 100?
They're 160.
160 pounds each. And Mr. Scott took some time and started thinking about ways to not destroy our shoulders and backs and lumbar and vertebrae and morale.
It only took me 52 years.
And this is what we figured out. Hey, boss, go ahead and give him a demo.
The duct lift, material lift.
I'm just gonna
Go for a ride.
Yep, I'm just gonna go for a ride on here. So old Engineer 775's cranking. And we're heading up. Pulling his batteries off. This is a great way to keep from destroying your body.
Hello again, YouTube. We have another complex lift today for you. This is called the overhead battery lift. It is perfect for destroying your shoulder joints, destroying your knees, your lumbar joints. Everything will be toast when you're done. I recommend one of these handy material lifts to help you get the battery down without destroying your body. Remember, YouTube, when you're working out, work smart. The battery is still very heavy. You can cut the video off now, Scott.
Next up, we're going to show a video of Mr. Hunt doing one of the complex battery moving. Make sure when you load the battery onto the hand truck does not come forward and bust you in the face.
Go in the face.
I got me a set loaded up, and this little thing has really saved our butts on this job. Giving it all she's got. Sure does make things easy. We're pushing her. Get it, boy.
All yours. Oh.
So this is a cool prepper job. I showed you the power system already, but there's his rainwater catchment. You can see he's depriving all the light from hitting the water. It's not growing any algae. It's got some raised beds made out of like rubber parking stuff. Common theme once again, folks, the chickens. Nice little chicken coop. And it's really cool to see these real people. You know, these preppers are, they're doing it, and they're real people. They're not just some crazy person with long hair living in the woods. Although if that's what you're doing, you're probably a real person too. Compost, another rainwater catchment. That panel right there goes to this well house. And the well house, it's got a simple pump. Is it a simple pump?
It's a motorized simple pump.
Old Magic Water himself.
A 12-volt flow light booster pump.
Can I film this?
Yeah, you gotta explain it.
Okay, he's got a motorized simple pump. Simple pump's pulling the water up out of the well and putting it in this, how many gallon tank?
1,000.
This 1,000-gallon tank. And then the 1,000-gallon tank, the water's feeding out underground from the bottom of that tank. And then this little flow light pump right here.
Come through that filter on your left.
Huh?
Hits the filter first on the
It
left.
goes through the filter into the flow light, into the bottom of the flow light. Does it go to the bottom or the top of the flow light? Or which side?
Look behind.
Okay, yeah, I see where it's going. So it comes out of the flow light right there, in that little T, and then it goes into the pressure tank in the house. Where's the pressure tank at? Or is that the pressure? What's that little pressure tank for?
Keep it from the simple pump from bouncing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we can.
This is one of those old school simple pumps.
It is.
Does it work?
Yeah. Yeah, after a few iterations and upgrading the switches, it works.
So there's a old school Engineer 775 backup water system.
Man, 5 years ago?
Really?
Yeah.
My grandma always tells me how she married my granddad because he was a big guy and he made her feel safe. And I'm 6'2", so 200 pounds. I'm a pretty big guy, and there's a lot of advantages to being a big guy, but One of the disadvantages to being a big guy.
You gonna like show how big guys have a plumber problem?
No, you're not plumbing. You're just a big guy in a little house.
I wish he built it bigger.
Big guy in a little well house. Big guy just a plumbing away.
The problem is this thing doesn't grow.
It doesn't get any bigger.
No, just I do.
Even if the pressure. So definitely a little bit tight in there, right, boss?
Aye.
This is a low voltage system, huh?
12 volt.
12 volt pumping system. Very cool.
12 volt.
The simple pump pulls the water out of the well. If the simple pump dies, they can always use the cistern. Fill this, what is it, 2,500 gallon cistern?
1,000.
Fill that with the simple pump. Now, is that a float switch?
Yep.
That's a float switch right there, and that goes down into the pump.
I got a relay here for that.
And then they also have a well pump, right?
They do.
So there's a well pump down there.
Well pump is in there. Simple pump. You can take the motor off and go back to the handle if you need to. There's a relay for the float switch to turn off the simple pump when the tank is full.
And there's the solar coming in right there.
And we're switching the first charge controller I used failed, and the company went out of business.
These are bulletproof, right?
They have been bulletproof for me. Flex charge. They're very simple, minimal, but bulletproof. All voltages, 12, 24, 36, 48.
Beautiful wiring job there, boss. Okay, folks, so we're done with this job. We also fixed the water system somewhat. So I gotta come back and put a float switch on. Got batteries on all different things to transport. There's that lift. Scott's got more batteries. Some of them are headed to the scrap yard. Some of them are headed to the play with, the boneyard. Gonna mess around with them. Here is the system now that's working. I've just got it a lot more conservatively set. It's programmed so it's gonna hang out at 50 volts, and it's in grid support. The load shave is off, so it's just supporting the load down to 50 volts or above 50 volts. It'll give power down to 50 volts, or if it's above 50 volts, it'll be in loads grid support, but it won't shave down to 2 volts below the LBCO setting like it was programmed, which was causing it to basically take the battery down too low, and then it was staying at that discharge state. See if I can get this cabinet out for you. So we came in and we replaced around 1,100 amp hours of 8A8D AGM batteries with the 740 amp hours of these Trojan SAGM batteries. These are so this is a 740 amp hour battery bank. This is one string. This is another string. We were able to reuse a lot of the cabling. We tug tested it, worked fine. And the solution is going to be, don't cycle the batteries during the day. And we're also going to go ahead and add in a whole house generator so that if power goes out, he can charge off the generator. And this battery is for backup power. And we're not going to try to save money by cycling lead acid batteries, because unless you have really expensive electricity and peak times, that is a losing game. This is Johnny Valentine with Gain Solar. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. We'll keep getting out more content. So I know a lot of you guys are going to ask, how did we determine that these batteries were dead? Did we load test them? What did we do? I came out, talked to the customer, looked at the settings, that the way that the system was set up, and realized that it had been cycling pretty deep, and the charger was kind of dialed down to 15%, so there was the AC charger couldn't come in and charge the battery back up, and it was basically getting cycled down below 50%, and then really relying on just the solar to charge it back up, and there just wasn't enough coming in. So I knew that what the situation had been, and then I also tested voltages when we took them out, and we did find some batteries were at 10.9 volts, some of them were flat dead, some of them were at 13. So some of these batteries are not considered toast. They're not scrap. You can still play with them. Remember, a lead acid battery is considered at the end of its life when it's only given 80% of the rated capacity. So there's still some life left in a battery like this. We can take these batteries, we took 2 of them out and put them in the water system, and now, you know, we can take these batteries and play with them and you know, kick other systems on and do experiments. But you know, for a user and somebody who's not really gonna get in there and mess with batteries and electricity, it's time to replace this battery, and it was more so time to reprogram the settings. So hope that clears some things up. I know some of you guys are scratching your heads on whether your battery is dead or not. One good way to know is if it is not performing the way it was when you first put it in, then it's probably, you know, aging. That's signs of an aging battery. It won't hold the load. If it would last all night before and now it only lasts for 3 or 4 hours, and the lights turn off or the low battery cutoff setting is reached, that may mean that it's dead.